Here's the gay news, September 2019. Welcome everyone to Powered and Protected by Rainbows. I'm of course your host, Matt Haslam. And today on the show, we're once again diving into the news of the month. If you know of a news story which you want us to cover on the show, please leave those in the comments down below. And don't forget to like the video and share your thoughts on the news stories we cover down in the comment section below as well. We'd love to know your thoughts. Anyway, on to the news. First up, after being established a year ago in 2018, the Pennsylvania Commission on LGBTQ Affairs offered us a glimpse into their work thus far. In 2018, Governor Tom Wolf created the commission through an executive order, appointing 40 members of the commission across the state of Pennsylvania. The commission claims it started creating subcommittees to identify and tackle the issues of our community. The committee claims it is responsible for helping pass more inclusive laws, establish policies for transgender students, and work to end discriminatory practices in the state. It also claims responsibility for working with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation to allow Gender X to be on licenses nowadays. Though in their report they don't cite many of the laws they helped change, Governor Tom Wolf claims it has made good progress, but admits in a statement that Pennsylvania is, quote, glaringly behind our neighbors on equality and protections for the LGBTQ citizens. The TSA is under fire this month for discriminating against transgender passengers in airports. A new internal review of TSA screenings has found that from January 2016 to April 2019, 5% of all TSA personal screening complaints happened to transgender people, even though transgender passengers only account for 1% of all passengers on aircraft. The TSA has reportedly discriminated against trans passengers by making them go through a secondary personal screening more often than cisgender passengers. This report claims faulty and old equipment are to blame, stating that the equipment shows different genitalia on the TSA X-ray screening compared to the gender the person claims to be. And this is the sole reason the TSA forces these folks to go through a personal pat-down screening, and why the TSA asks trans people to show their genitalia during these screenings. But just because a computer screen showing you X-ray images shows you different genitalia doesn't mean you have to see their body parts to prove their gender to get onto a plane. That's just sexual harassment, which is the purpose of the lawsuits against the TSA right now, and the purpose of this report to find and fix. In Ohio, 18-year-old Justin Olson was taken into custody after bragging with his friends online about his stockpile of guns and threatening to open fire at a gay bar and a Planned Parenthood clinic. After being reported to the FBI from other members of his online chat room, the FBI took him into custody and seized over 10,000 rounds of ammunition and 25 semi-automatic guns. The teenager claims to have only been making jokes about shooting LGBTQ people, but firstly, that's not something to joke around about. And secondly, with as many mass shootings as our country has nowadays, there's zero reason you should have that many guns and should be bragging to your friends about how you're going to use that stockpile. So a job well done to the FBI and local Mahoning County Sheriff's Office for doing their jobs and hopefully keeping this horrible creature off the streets forever. The Gay Straight Alliance of Washington County in Pennsylvania just announced their first Pride event next year. The group started in 2005 to provide support to their local LGBTQ members and youth, and grew over the coming years to a point where they are now able to host a Pride event of their own. The date will be Saturday, June 27th, 2020, and will be held at the Community Pavilion on South Main Street in Washington, PA. The Trump administration has been responsible for 124 laws, policies, and decisions that negatively impact LGBTQ people. That's just about one anti-gay and anti-trans policy every single week. But within the past month, the Trump administration enacted a rule which now makes it perfectly legal for federal contractors to discriminate against LGBTQ people and fire their gay workers. Trump also told the U.S. Supreme Court that he believes it should be perfectly legal to discriminate against transgender people. And this, somehow, came as a surprise to our community, because apparently Trump banning transgender people from serving openly in the military wasn't clue enough that he discriminates. And his administration also sent letters out this month to hopefully strong-arm the Justice Department into not allowing gay and transgender people to use Title VII of the Civil Rights Act to protect them from anti-LGBTQ discrimination in their workplace, their fair housing, and more. In other words, Trump is saying it's perfectly fine to discriminate and fire someone for being gay or trans, and he is even firing gay and trans people from his own military and government based on their LGBTQ status. And then he wants all protections taken away from our community to fight against these actions. And like I said before on this show does not get political. We don't push one side or the other. As long as you support LGBTQ, it doesn't matter to us which party you're affiliated with. You're on the right side of history, and that's all that matters to us. But at this point, with over 128 laws, policies, and decisions now against our community, even strong LGBTQ Trump supporters have to have some doubts in their belief in this man being their ally. He is not for us, and if you're anything like me and base your vote on someone's LGBTQ friendliness, it's pretty clear this election in 2020 who not to vote for. And if you vote for him, it's pretty clear whether or not you're really an ally of ours. No policy or amount of money you save the country is worth it if you discriminate against 10 to 20% of your citizens. I'm tired of talking about him. A gay student at Alexandria Monroe High School in Indiana was attacked in the locker room by a group of boys, while another student recorded the incident on his phone. He later shared the video with classmates around the school, and other students eventually shared it with the victim's parents later that day. The boy was rushed to the hospital, where he was treated with a broken nose after having been punched in his face by his attackers. The school district claims they are investigating the attack with the local police and say they were unaware of the incident taking place, get this, until the victim returned to school 2 days later. But this is hard to believe since the boy had to be rushed to the hospital, and so someone in the administration of the school had to know this incident took place. Otherwise, how did the boy make it to the hospital in the middle of the school day? After the mass shootings in El Paso, Texas and Dayton, Ohio, which killed a combined 30 people in one weekend, Ohio Representative Candace Keller posted to Facebook. In this Facebook post, she blamed all mass shootings on the, quote, breakdown of the traditional American family, homosexual marriage, fatherlessness, and the ignoring of violent video games, professional athletes who hate our flag and the national anthem, the relaxing of laws against criminals, recreational marijuana, Obama, and the Democratic members of Congress, among others. And the fact that someone as stupid as Candace Keller is in office scares the hell out of me, but I'm glad most people understand the true problems with mass shootings are the mental health systems in our country, the vast amounts of guns, and the media's publicizing of the perpetrators, which shows future murderers they will get their fame for their actions. Just to be clear, my marriage with my someday husband has no connection whatsoever to some deranged murderer shooting up a school or an office. Representative Keller, those murders are on your hands as part of a government who does nothing to stop future mass murders from taking place. The only things our LGBTQ community pushes and stands for are love and acceptance, two qualities I don't find anywhere in her Facebook post, blaming everyone else. And now it's time for some good news, finally. Marvel just announced this past month its first gay superhero. In a statement to press, the Marvel Studios president, Kevin Feige, said, quote, "He's married, he's got a family, and that is just part of who he is." The movie which cast the first gay superhero is called The Eternals, and it's scheduled to hit theaters on November 6th, 2020. And while that's a while to wait, the news is still exciting nonetheless, seeing that Marvel has pushed the boundaries on LGBTQ in their films for years now, and this time, it's their lead role. And it shows kids out there how normal a gay family can look, while at the same time showing gay people are all superheroes. At least that's what I think it means. The Straight Pride and Homophobia Parade, organized by Super Happy Fun America, was a colossal failure. The group was first banned from using the original venue they rented for the event because the venue owners found out it was a homophobic movement. The event planned on drawing hundreds of people, but instead, it drew about 20 homophobes and about 200 gay rights activists who were there protesting the homophobic event. So congratulations to Super Happy Fun America on giving us gay people another party of our own, which we now took over. Seriously, that was like the best news I heard all month. A federal court of appeals ruled that the state of Kentucky must pay over $225,000 for reimbursing attorney's fees to same-sex couples who were denied marriage licenses by Kim Davis. After the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in favor of and made same-sex marriage legal in all 50 states, Kim Davis refused to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples and straight couples in her office. Davis was the person in charge in her area to issue licenses, but after refusing, there was no one the same-sex couples could go to in order to get a marriage license, other than attorneys to sue the state for their license. So, after couples filed lawsuits in their jurisdictions, and the case made its way through to the courts, finally ending this past month, more than 4 years later, and now the state has to pay a hefty fine for allowing bigots in their office. The Staten Island Yankees in New York, who used to have a Chick-fil-A restaurant inside their baseball complex, ended their contract with Chick-fil-A after the restaurant made sizable contributions to anti-gay and conversion therapy movements last year. Those contributions add up to over $1.6 million to just one anti-gay group called Think Progress, and millions more to groups called National Organization for Marriage, Focus on the Family, and the now-defunct group Exodus International. All of these groups would be made illegal to operate under currently pending legislation. But for now, Chick-fil-A supports all of them, and now their support has cost them a place at a major baseball field because bigotry isn't tolerated in sports. Now, we just have to wait and see if other sports teams, malls, and others follow suit and throw Chick-fil-A out on their bottoms too. But anyway, that's all for our episode for today. If you have any thoughts on any of the stories we shared, have any questions or stories you think we missed this past month, please do leave those in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our network for plenty more great gay content to come in the future, and share this video with others. I'm Matt Haslam, this has been PBR, and have a gay day everyone. Bye for now.